Hello friends, today we'll talk about one of the most tragic accidents in aviation history, Atom Air Flight 5774. This crash, which occurred on the very first day of 2007, not only claimed the lives of 102 innocent people, but also painfully revealed how critical the balance between technology and the human factor is in modern aviation. By the end of this video, you'll understand how an aircraft can spiral out of control and plunge into the ocean in just a few minutes, how technological failures can lead to disasters, and most importantly, what lessons should be learned from this tragedy. If you're ready, let's begin. Atom Air, a rapidly rising but falling star. First, let's talk about Atom Air. Founded in 1999, this Indonesia-based low-cost airline truly became a rising star in the early 2000s. The company was a key player in domestic flights that connected Indonesia's thousands of islands. Frequent flights, affordable prices, just what people wanted. But this rapid growth seems to have led to some safety issues being overlooked. Atom Air operated Boeing 737 series aircraft and mainly targeted middle-aged passengers. Unfortunately, after the crash of Flight 574, the company's safety record began to be seriously questioned. The story of the company began like an American dream but ended like a nightmare. Within a few years, they were forced to cease operations entirely. But how did it come to this? We'll see that later. That fateful day, January 1, 2007. Monday, January 1, 2007, the first day of the new year. Everyone was beginning the year with hope and excitement. At Juanda International Airport in Surabaya, it was a seemingly normal day. A Boeing 737 4Q8 tail number PKKKW was making its final preparations for departure to Sam Ratualangi Airport in. There were 102 people on board, 96 passengers, and 6 crew members. But this number is not just a statistic. These were real people. Families traveling for vacation, children, grandparents, business travelers, and young people looking to ring in the new year in Manado. As they boarded the plane that morning, none of them imagined it would be their final journey. Passengers smiling at the gate, businessmen kissing their wives goodbye, parents holding their children. They all thought they'd be in Manado in a few hours. The crew, experienced, but racing against fate. Captain Rafri Widodo was a 35-year-old experienced pilot with over 4,000 flight hours. That's no small number, quite seasoned for a pilot. His co-pilot was First Officer Yoga Sasanto. Both pilots were trained and certified for flying Boeing 737 aircraft. That morning, both were ready to do their jobs, a normal domestic flight, a routine task. But sometimes, life surprises us, even during the most routine moments. And unfortunately, the surprise waiting for them that day would not be a pleasant one. Takeoff. Everything started smoothly. The plane took off from Surabaya at 12:59 p.m. Initially, everything was smooth. Communication with air traffic control was established, and the planned route was being followed. The aircraft was cruising at about 35,000 feet. Passengers were comfortably seated, some asleep, others gazing out the window. About 2 hours after takeoff, at 3:07 p.m., the plane made its final communication with Makassar Air Traffic Control. Up to that point, the pilots had reported no problems. Everything seemed normal. But this is where the story starts to change. Sadly, that would be the last we'd hear from Flight 574. What followed was silence. Technological disaster. IRS system malfunctioned. So what happened? According to the investigation reports, the root cause of the crash was a malfunction in the Inertial Reference System, or IRS. What is this system, and why is it so important? The IRS is a critical navigation system in modern aircraft. Think about it. How does a plane know where it is while flying? This system constantly provides information about the aircraft's position, speed, altitude, and direction. It's like the brain of the plane. But what happens when that brain starts giving wrong information? That's exactly what happened. When the IRS system failed, the autopilot began receiving incorrect data. The system believed the plane was in a completely different location. Imagine driving a car with a broken GPS, except this time, you're thousands of feet in the air. This caused the autopilot to steer the plane in the wrong direction, and critically, it took time for the pilots to recognize this malfunction and respond appropriately. Human factor, the price of trust in technology. In modern aircraft, pilots rely heavily on automated systems, which can make it hard to detect when something goes wrong. Imagine always trusting a compass that suddenly gives you the wrong direction. You'd first think it's your sense of direction that's off, not the compass, right? That's what the pilots faced. When they realized the IRS had failed, the correct action was clear: disengage the autopilot and manually control the aircraft. But maybe it was too late, or maybe they never fully understood what was happening. According to aviation experts, in such emergencies, pilots must first switch to manual control and take full command of the aircraft. Sadly, this may not have happened due to insufficient training or an inability to make the right decisions in a moment of panic. Data from the flight recorders shows that in the final moments, the plane began to perform uncontrolled maneuvers. It entered a high-speed spiral and could not be recovered, despite the pilot's efforts. Final moments, a race against time. Let's try to imagine those final moments. Alarms blaring in the cockpit, the pilots frantically trying to understand what to do. In the cabin, most passengers were likely unaware. Some may have felt the plane shake slightly, interpreting it as turbulence. After 3:07 p.m., all communications ceased. Radar tracking showed the aircraft making abnormal movements. The final radar signal indicated the plane was descending rapidly over the Java Sea. At that point, there was no turning back. The plane was likely diving into the sea uncontrollably at high speed. Sadly, in crashes like this, survival chances are nearly zero. The immense impact force and the risk of drowning afterward leave little room for life. What happened next? A search and rescue marathon. After the plane disappeared from radar, one of Indonesia's largest search and rescue operations was launched. The Indonesian Navy, Air Force, and various civil organizations all took part. Everyone was doing their best, but the search was extremely difficult. That area of the Java Sea is deep and has strong currents. The ocean does not give up its secrets easily. While some debris was found floating in the early days, the main wreckage could not be located. During this time, the uncertainty and pain experienced by the families were beyond words. Imagine the plane your loved one was on has vanished, and you're waiting for days, clinging to hope while fearing the worst. Many families waited for days at the airport, hoping for news, hope in their eyes, fear in their hearts. After 9 days of intense searching, the main wreckage was finally found. 9 days, 216 hours. A torturous time for the families. Investigation. In pursuit of the truth. Once the wreckage was found, a technical investigation began, one of the most detailed in aviation history. The flight data recorders, or black boxes, were analyzed, the pilot's last conversations reviewed, and the technical condition of the aircraft thoroughly examined. The investigation commission determined that the crash resulted from multiple factors. It wasn't just one thing that went wrong. It was like a domino effect. The IRS failure, inadequate pilot training, incorrect implementation of emergency procedures, and systemic safety deficiencies all combined to cause this tragedy. The report also noted that Atom Air's maintenance standards were insufficient and that pilot training had serious shortcomings. These findings initiated the process that led to the revocation of the airline's license. A shockwave through the aviation world. The crash of Flight 574 sent shockwaves through Indonesia's aviation industry. The government said enough is enough and tightened safety standards for low-cost airlines. Inspection mechanisms were strengthened, and everything started being monitored more closely. Pilot training standards were also thoroughly reviewed. More comprehensive training on IRS failures and emergency procedures became mandatory. Simulator sessions were extended and included more realistic scenarios. To ensure such a tragedy would never happen again, aircraft maintenance standards were also tightened. Technical inspections became more frequent, and international standards were enforced more strictly. Atom Air's tragic end. After the crash of Flight 574, the countdown began for Atom Air. The company faced serious financial and reputational problems. Passengers completely lost trust, and bookings dropped dramatically. Who would want to risk flying? In 2008, the company's license was suspended, and in 2014, it was permanently revoked. The story of Atom Air is a striking example of how critical safety is in aviation and how negligence can completely destroy a company. Once a rising star, the airline is now only remembered in the dark pages of aviation history. Technology or humans, the balance between the two. This crash taught us something important, how vital the balance between technology and the human factor is in modern aviation. Today's aircraft are equipped with incredible technologies, but when those systems fail, pilot response is crucial. The technology is great, but not perfect. Pilots must be capable of acting effectively, not just in routine conditions, but also when systems malfunction. That's why training programs must be continuously updated with real-world lessons. Human and machine harmony, perhaps the hardest balance to achieve in aviation. Lessons to remember. The crash of Atom Air Flight 574 will always be remembered as one of the tragic events in aviation history. This accident, which claimed 102 innocent lives, brought many vital lessons with it. One of the most important lessons, no matter how advanced technological systems are, the human factor and proper training are critically important. A pilot's ability to stay calm and apply correct procedures in emergencies can save hundreds of lives. Another lesson, an airline's ambition to grow rapidly should never compromise safety. Cheap tickets are great, but safety must always come first. Conclusion, an unforgettable tragedy. To ensure such tragedies never happen again, the aviation industry must constantly evolve, raise safety standards, and never forget the lessons learned from past accidents. The 102 people who died on Flight 574 continue to be remembered with every step taken toward improving aviation safety. Those 102 souls should be honored in every precaution and every advancement made to prevent others from sharing their fate. Their memory must continue to inspire the struggle for safer skies. Thank you so much for watching this video, friends. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to like it and subscribe to my channel for more aviation content. You can also share your thoughts about this crash in the comments. Hope to see you again in the next video. Take care.